Hi, I'm Thexton. I'm the Managing Director of OneFile and also the Group Leader of a number of different companies within the Harris portfolio in the UK. Luckily, 2.5 years ago, Susanna, who founded OneFile, handed over the mantle to me of Managing Director at the point at which she sold the company to Harris, who are a Canadian software company, who buy companies and invest in them and keep them forever. They don't ever divest of those companies. And so I was having a wonderful opportunity to expand OneFile's footprint, if you like, and to take the company from what Susanna had built, which was an amazing organisation, and then take it and develop it further. One of the benefits of being part of the Harris organisation is that there are a number of other companies that Harris buys. And actually they needed somebody to manage, if you like, a number of those companies in the UK, particularly in the public sector. And so at Christmas I was given the opportunity to develop and be promoted into the role of group leader. And that allows me to manage, at the moment, 4 different companies, very different to OneFile, both in terms of size, but also the market specifically that they are in. But they are public sector focused software companies. So there's a lot of synergy there, a lot of benefit that they can get from learning from each other, sort of best practices kind of things. But those benefits also apply to OneFile for the best practices that we can learn from all the different Harris companies around both the UK and globally as well. And so it's a wonderful opportunity that I've been given, but because OneFile is one of those 4 companies, it also means that I'm not leaving OneFile behind. I'm still very much involved on a day-to-day basis. I have been recruiting for a replacement managing director, and I'll be announcing about that very shortly. But I will still be providing that oversight on a day-to-day way. For the future perspective, however, what the Harris investment has meant is that we have the opportunity to not only learn from those best practices, but when we want to expand the technology into new areas to support OneFile's customers even further, then there is a level of investment there that we wouldn't have had as a small privately owned company. And that's an amazing opportunity, and the company's very positive about innovation and experimentation. Not everything always works, but it's through learning through some of those things and learning that if it doesn't work, you fail fast and then take those learnings and do something else with it. But it gives us a tremendous opportunity within the UK, but also potentially beyond the UK into other international markets where there may be other companies that Harris have acquired over the years that are in the edtech sector from which we could learn very directly, or there may be partnership opportunities. Partnerships are an incredibly important part of the ecosystem, if you like. And I've always been a huge fan of partnerships because they can help expand your reach, help expand your engagement with both customers and other important influencers within the sector from which you can gain a lot of knowledge and experience. So organisations like the Multicultural Apprenticeship Alliance, WorldSkills, the Association of Apprenticeships, really important organisations. And I don't think you should partner with just one of those kinds of organisations because each one has its own remit, if you like. But all of them are associated with the benefit of the sector, and that's an important thing for us at OneFile. But it's also important that we understand from them what they see going on in the industry, the sector, from which we can learn. But if we can also introduce our customers to them as well, then there's a kind of mutual benefit. And that concept of sharing information is one of the reasons that every year we do a OneFile customer conference, because we want to share information with our customers. But equally, it's really important that our partners are part of that process as well, so that we introduce new partners to our customers and vice versa. So really powerful. So learner completions continue to be a challenge for the industry. I seem to remember talking about this a year ago, and it's still an issue. Obviously everyone's focused on it now, and so therefore it's getting more attention and things are improving, no doubt about it. And many employers have actually said that learner engagement or completion rates isn't necessarily down to the individual training provider, because there are many factors that impact that. Maybe the personal circumstances around a learner, maybe the employer engagement with the training provider. But one of the key reasons that people state that they don't complete their particular course is often down to the lack of engagement. And if there's anything that we at OneFile can do to help increase that completion rate, or at least to help the providers predict when someone is likely to be disengaged and maybe do something predictive to help that, that would have to be a good thing. So one of the things that we realised a while back, that with the depth of knowledge and information that we had from over 20 years of being in business, and really having millions of learners having gone through a OneFile e-portfolio, the data that enables us to identify, not the data itself, but the patterns that data provides, allows for a model that we can then incorporate for existing customers, future customers, to be able to see and to predict and to monitor when learners are starting to maybe show signs that they are likely to be someone that's not going to complete, and therefore putting into place a variety of different mechanisms for prompting further engagement, challenging, questioning, asking if they're okay through chat or through email or whatever the vehicle might be. But it's using that model that allows you to then be able to predict and to then have colleges, ITPs, be able to identify the people that are at risk. In order to transform skills within the sort of further education landscape, I think the concept of AI and data models, we're only at the very beginning. And I think that we're only scratching at the surface of what might be possible. And I've been talking about engagement and how I think that could really help, because that will also retain funding for the training providers. But I also think there are things that perhaps we haven't yet thought of. And it's that I think is really exciting, because there are pockets of innovation all over the world. Some of them are very region, country specific, others are much more broad and are taking a broader use of AI and then applying it in a very vertical, education-centred way. But I don't know that we know that yet. So it's very exciting, actually. So the conference this year at Birmingham has been a phenomenal success. I'm so excited. We've doubled the capacity from the previous year and had the most amazing sponsors and exhibitors, and the feedback has been fantastic. We try to build an agenda that is covering both OneFile specific technology developments, but also what's going on in the broader community, in the broader sector, that are both useful for people, but also kind of expansive for people, to get them to think about, okay, how could I use this in my world? And does this challenge that I've got, could that be answered by this technology? So really, really excited, and the feedback's very positive.